We have been delayed in our beginning. Excuse me. Draw your spine up tall. Join your palms. Close your eyes. No more planning. Come to class. Pay homage to this practice and to that root teacher, Patanjali. Bow your head. Release your hands. Raise your head up and open your eyes. Now, Karen, use padding to make the hip soft. Everyone take Adho Mukha Virasana. Padding could be between the buttocks and the heels. Knees apart, can also be to protect the ankles. Now, just experiment here. Those who are using blanket support, there is a very good reason for bringing a blanket right up behind the knee and sitting on it, right into the back of the joint. This, you can feel there's something that squeezes this upper calf muscle. Hopefully pleasantly. Is that true? Is it pleasant? Yeah. Chaya doesn't think it. Chaya's going like this. It's not great. Okay, move. Instead of doing what you just did, fold that blanket in half and sit with it toward your heels. Much better. Okay. So some of you, that's Leanne. Did you try both foldings, Leanne? Do you see? Yes. Fold that in half, take it, yes. No, back to the heel, yes. Yeah. So, all right. This is my preference, keeping pressure off the knee unless you specifically need it there. Go forward. Now, this fold can be less, it can be a single thickness, whatever works for you. I'm just saying up close to the back of the knee is for one kind of thing. Under the heel, most people like that. Go forward. Keep the knee open. Now, please, you observe yourself, and then especially wherever you are tight or constricted, particularly the hips, and then come up. Now, get a second blanket. Take that blanket. So it's not very thick. I've opened it out a bit, and then I'm making a roll. Now, this roll is small. It's like this. Unless you have a genuine problem, you don't make this support here. under your buttocks too thick. Likewise, you don't make this support here too thick. Go forward. It's got to be thick enough to have an effect. And the effect is to make this fold, Karen, to make this fold softer, to make this inner curve of the fold less strong. It gives support to the pelvis. Some of you will feel it lifts and spreads the sacrum. It's big enough to cause your abdomen, pelvis to press it into the top thighs a little bit so that front hip muscle can soften. Knees apart. Don't let the knees be together. So yes, you'll have a much better time. Okay. So the abdomen blanket is telling your thigh to release down, right? Your abdomen on that roll is saying release down. And your hamstring against that blanket has something to completely settle against. All right, so come up onto the hands and knees and move those blankets out of the way and tuck your shirt in. So when you come up to dog pose, you have to remember that that hamstring, that back thigh settles, the back thigh settles toward that hamstring. And this pelvis doesn't push a sharp fold here. It stays open, right? Blanket in front and something to move against in back. So think with that top thigh. Think keeping that pelvis open. So there's something across the front pelvis that gives it lift toward the sacrum tailbone. And there's something on the thigh that moves it toward the hamstring. Lengthen those thigh bones. Lengthen. Release, come out. Okay, watch. Just be neat for a second. So you're going back to dog pose, and with that same feeling here, join the feet, stretch the arm bones, stretch through the trunk, most especially stretch your shoulder blades. Oops, that come forward. And then with those feet joined, raise the right leg until it's in line with your spine. Okay, so it's got to come up. What's your landmark if you can't really tell what straight is? You've got to drop your head. And if you just barely see your toes, you're in the neighborhood. If you see your foot, it's low. If you see your toes, you're pretty much in line with your head hanging down. So give this a try. Exhaling, go up. Keep the heels lifted. Now stretch the arms, stretch those shoulder blades. Be even, keep that outer. Okay, join your feet. Raise the centered, raise the right leg. Now stretch tall. Drop your head. If you see more than your toes, you must lift that thigh or attempt to lift the thigh more. Release, come out. Take full dog pose. And side two, feet together. Raise the left leg. Keep those shoulders even. Pull the hips evenly level. Oh, stretch that leg fully straight. Complete extension through the heel and the toes. So some of you are bending the knee and the toe goes up high and you think you're okay because you bent your knee. Straighten your leg and you might see more of your foot. Release, come out. And rest now. Okay. Are you all right? Okay. So watch. We're going to try to do a little more. Up you go. Join those feet. Raise the heels. Keep the abdomen lifting instead of trying to drive down. Okay? Don't drive the abdomen down. Go up. Then one leg goes up. Okay? Please keep your hips square. Some of you are going this way. Do you see this turnout? Avoid that. So when you see your toe, it should point to the floor. Okay, how to go farther? Stretch back, open that chest, and push through. The leg will go up higher if you connect it to the rib cage and move your rib cage up. Right? Don't just try to, excuse me, raise the leg. Try to extend the whole trunk. Up you go, join the feet, then raise the right leg. It goes to its ordinary place, connect it to your chest, and push from the arms. Go up that wall, pratima. Get your toes up higher, yes, and swoop the rib cage up to swing that leg up higher. Turn the toes and hips to face the floor. And then come back down to dog pose. Keep as much space as you can. Raise the second leg, left leg. Stretch it straight. Now swoop into that lift with the entire body. Raise the right heel. Push through the arms. Pull through that back leg. And up you go. Up the wall. Up higher. Up higher. It feels like a back bend, but it's just a full extension. And out you come. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Be symmetrical for a bit. Pull back with those legs. And then come out and rest. Now, we have to do Trikonasana. We have to do it so that Karen's hip, which is irritated, can be helped. So everybody needs to get a strap, and if possible, 2 straps, 1 for each leg. So you take, and this is sort of important, here's my strap, and it tightens to, this is my right hand. This strap tightens to my right. It goes through my right leg, so it tightens from inside out. See it? Mm-hmm. And it goes up to the top thigh, and it's tightening. So not so it cuts off circulation, but so it's firm, and each part of this strap is in contact equally with the thigh. Then wrap it one more time, and then tuck it into your pants so it doesn't go anywhere, and do the same thing side 2, except your left leg has to tighten outward. Oops. Tighten outward. And it wraps one extra time and then tucks in. Okay, so you have this very unstylish outfit now. Okay, but there you go. All right, I'm gonna face the wall, and so are you when it's time to do, but for the moment, you watch. This is my right leg. I'm pulling out the right side strap, and I hold it with my left hand. And it wraps around the thigh so that when I pull it, right, it tightens around the thigh. Got it? So you get a brick, you got your wall, you take your feet apart, and don't use this strap here at this time, just turn your thigh. The strap is going to move, but you do what the thigh will do. Okay? See how this strap goes over the top of the buttock flesh. So I'm going to pull that buttock and thigh as I take my Trikonasana. The purpose of this pull is to move that pelvis bone, sacroiliac, right? Ilium bone, sacrum bone, away from my armpit. So it would be lovely if you would turn away from me and I could see where that strap goes. And if you saw, my hand is down here on the pelvis. It's not up here or around in front. And when I come down into that pose, it pulls straight where it has some force away from that shoulder. And if you see this, it helps me roll my chest open and keep my buttock broad. So use over the top of the buttock, Karen, over the top of the buttock, drag the buttock behind you, Pratima. That strap goes behind you. Straighten the arm, Leanne. Straighten the arm, Gay. Don't hurt your shoulder, but straighten the arm. Yes, just push it up straight and roll the shoulder open. Lift your chest. Okay, inhale, come up. So watch. I just wrap that back up and tuck it in. Then I get the left side strap and I need it up. Now watch this. Some of you, your strap was getting buckled around the back. So when you pulled, there's no more contact with the hip. There's no more rotation of the leg. You need this buckle on the inside. You need the extra wrap of the strap so the leg is supported in its external rotation. It's supported by a full extra wrapping in the buckle on the inside. So when you come in, your right hand initially starts holding close and you just be straight. And when you come into the pose, you can start with the elbow bent, steering closely. But once you come down, straighten that arm. This pull is still helping to spin the thigh. This pull is still, you can see it cutting into the buttock flesh and moving it, massaging it away from the back. Karen, how's it going? Open that chest, Chaya. Roll the shoulder back, straighten the top arm. Roll the shoulder back, bring your buttock forward, Gail. Good. Inhale, come up. Take both straps off. Okay. So now you can work with the wall. I recommend working with the wall so you get to take a little time. The idea that you got from that strap is the thigh rolls externally. The thigh has to roll externally. Do you see that? Okay. Also, the buttock has to stay away from the low back. And this front hip has to stay open. Okay. So going, sorry, to the right side, going from here into Ardha Chandrasana. Turning the thigh, releasing the buttock. You don't get the strap here. Now you're near a wall, which means you, as you bend this knee, observe this outer thigh has to go toward the floor and toward the hip socket and the buttock away from the ribs. You come forward to a brick. Move over this leg with the leg bent. Raise to horizontal, standing knee bent. Now, when you come in, move that outer thigh back. Outer thigh, not the part toward me, outer thigh. Move the buttock away from the ribs. If you're at the wall, put your top heel at the wall, hand on a brick or the floor, but stretch those ribs. Go a little more forward, Laura, and get all 5 fingers on the floor, maybe. Okay, outer buttocks away, ribs forward. Now, when you bend the knee to come out, you have to make sure the direction of movement stays the same. Sit the outer buttock down. Lower the leg, stand up. Good. Was that comfortable?
Kind of.
I mean, as Ardha Chandrasana goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Side two. So you see, you skip a bit Trikonasana when you're working close to a wall. You keep the actions and then lean, bend the knee, back that standing foot up, Pratima. So you have headroom, back that left foot away from the wall, Pratima. Your head is too close to the wall. No, away from your head wall. The head, yes. You need headroom. Feel free to lean against the wall, but you need headroom. Move your brick forward, Karen. Everybody move your brick forward. Everybody. And your outer thigh back. Way back. Buttock back. So when you get far enough in that movement, it'll seem like both your buttock bones are pointing straight back, not slightly down. Straight back. Come out. Keep the action. Correct. Okay, good. Feet up, turn the feet, bring the feet together. You okay, Karen? I only see your lower, yes, thank you. Okay. That was lateral dog pose we did facing straight forward. Now here we went sideways. So can we go toward headstand, taking the feet wide apart? Prasarita Padottanasana. Stretch those legs. Now, Karen, just be judicious how wide apart the hips go. You don't want to feel like you're really making trouble there in that joint. Everybody else, you go 4 feet. Shoulders back, ribs lifted. Broaden the buttocks, take them down. Lift up that front spine. And then fold forward, coming to straight arms. Now imagine that you've got a blanket roll behind your hamstrings and you need to move your thigh bones toward it. And you've got a rolled blanket across the front pelvis, giving you some lift in the sacrum. Now come down with the head, keeping that lift in the sacrum and that hamstring awareness. Let your spine cascade forward and down. From that lift of the sacrum, cascade. And I see, yes, Pratima, if it were thicker, it might help. Sometimes it helps. But it really only helps when the legs are closer together and you can, yeah. But take your head down and it'll either feel good or you want to get rid of it, one or the other. Sometimes it's a very great help. Lift and broaden those shoulders. The lower shoulder blade goes away from the skull. The outer shoulder blade stays attached to the arm bone. So your head can be way down and those elbows bent and shoulders lifted. Keep your legs firm, weight on the heel. Inner thighs lifted, outer heels pressing. Now those who can, go as deeply into the pose as possible. If you're close to the wall, you may have to move away if your elbows can come further through. The fullest part of this pose would have the hands behind the shins and the head between the feet. So if you can draw a deep pose and not suffer for it, please do, if you can. Release the back of the skull. And then please come out, walk your hands forward, straighten your arms. In the classical pose, you would make the legs quite firm, pushing from the outer hip to the outer heel, and hands to the hips, come up. If that seems too much for the knees, bring your feet closer together, then come up. Join the feet. Okay. So briefly, just because. Interlock those fingers. Here, I'll go this way. I need a better lower camera angle. So fingers interlocked. As for headstand, some of you will actually go to headstand, others will just do preparation, but everybody does this, going up or not. With or without the head on the floor, lift the shoulders, lengthen the arm bones. Lengthening the arm bones just makes them sort of expand. Then you come up, do that same thing, hamstrings, pelvis, walk in, feet joint. See, my head is not on the floor. Raise a leg, lift the groins, come out, raise the other leg. Okay, so everybody will do that, and then some of you will rest and go up into headstand, and those who are preparing, you will just repeat this. Press the forearm, lengthen the forearm bone, lengthen the upper arm bone, lengthen the shoulder blade toward the arm bone. That's the outer shoulder blade, has to connect to the arm bone. And the inner shoulder blade goes away from the skull. Follow through to the hip, stretch your legs, then raise one leg fully straight. Keep the shoulders even. Don't let the other hip droop. Then go down, change legs. Learn to not use that wall, Pratima. Take your foot off the wall. You need that strength close to the hip. Stretch the legs straight. Yes. Use the wall, then practice without. Good. Now, anybody who wants to go up for 1 or 2 minutes in Shirshasana, please do. The rest of you, you can take a break and then repeat this preparation or do whatever your good practice is that is an alternate for headstand. It's only 2 minutes, so make your choice. Join those legs. Stretch them like one leg, those who are up. Join the ankle bones. Keep the outer hips firm. Walk in if you can, Chaya. Yeah, so you get very inverted. So that lifting leg is going up as much as out. Rest as you need to. Don't overwork. This can be quite sweaty, this leg lifting prep work. Quite sweaty. Okay. Keep those hips long. The hamstring is, even if you're not fully in headstand, you might come into Uttanasana as a rest, or if you're feeling sparky and you just don't want to be upside down, you can be in Tadasana. Either way, work this hamstring awareness back and the lift of the front pelvis in front. Uttanasana, dog pose, Tadasana, Shirshasana, same awareness, all shapes. And it's time to come out. One leg or two, observe the rule. Okay, so all right, you need a strap. You need a wooden brick. Now, I'm going to go at an angle instead of straight this way or straight perpendicular. And hopefully you'll be able to see a little more. So at a 45-degree angle, here I am. You're going to be parallel to your mat. This brick comes in right next to my hip. So if I bend my leg, it doesn't interfere with my pelvis, only with the thigh bone. Here's a belt, and I tighten up the loop to be about a foot size, so my foot happily fits through it. You got to remember the blanket roll awareness, or the belt and blanket awareness. Stretch the leg up to vertical. You see my hand. It's reminding my thigh. Stay open here. Stay open here. And it goes up. So I'm giving actually some support, pushing through my wrist. This helps me relax the pelvis. Pushing, do you see this leverage elbow to knuckles? I'm doing it this way because not everybody has an 8-foot strap to wrap around their thigh and connect to the left leg. But I'm asking you to open that right hip, hold the strap with your left hand and brace your right elbow on the floor and push your right knuckles against your right thigh. This is what I was showing. I'll show it from the side here. Elbow on the floor, knuckles against the thigh, putting a little bit of resistance as I pull. See it? See that form is like a shim that helps keep my front hip relaxing. Okay, I hope it's doing what I'm hoping it does. Change sides. The brick is not in use just yet. Sorry, it's for part 2, so you don't have to shift the brick for this. Do stretch the right leg. And brace with that left forearm, left elbow on the floor, and left hand, like you start close and then push through the forearm, lengthen, and that moves the thigh and hopefully relaxes the hip a bit, softening that pelvis. All right. Do you get the idea? Maybe. Come out. Watch. Here's the strap. This is hip brick. Push this brick next to your outer hip socket. Right foot comes up. Now remember that action. You don't have to do it with your hand, but you've got to remember it. Move that buttock, this part, move that buttock away from the low back and from the buttock stretch to the buttock bone and the buttock bone stretch to your heel. So this abdomen stays released. Now the right leg goes to the side, buttock to buttock bone to heel. So it's going to turn a corner at the buttock bone. So you never squinch up in the outer right hip or thigh. Hold with the right hand or with the left hand, and your right hand is guiding the hip. Don't go above hip height. Try to stay perpendicular. Take the leg to the side. Open the groin. Keep that leg straight. Keep your left shoulder on the floor. Karen, how you doing? Give me a sign. Good. Chaya, how you doing? Low back happy, sacroiliac happy. Measure with your measuring brain the two sides of the pelvis. Are your two buttock bones looking straight toward your left foot? Are they looking slightly rightward? Move that right buttock bone back in so it's looking toward your left foot. Now, use the strap as much as need be, but keep your leg quite straight. Raise it up. Inhale. Raise it up. And then bend the knee, unhook the strap, take the leg down straight on the floor, Supta Tadasana. It should feel quite different from side 2. Be 2 legs straight for just a moment there, so you feel how newly asymmetrical you are. Karen, is your hip feeling cool or hot? Hot? Okay. Do you have a sandbag? Put a sandbag on that hip as you do side 2. And you can, prop it up with a brick or a blanket so it doesn't slide off. Left leg, everybody. Keep your right leg straight. Bring up that left leg to now keep it vertical for a second till you're sure the pelvis is straight and those buttock bones are both looking towards your right foot. Then stretch that left leg, turn the thigh, and take the leg off to the side. Give support with either hand, but keep both shoulders on the floor. Put that brick chaya a little bit further away from your head so it's centered on your thigh bone. That's good. I like that better. So the thigh bone lands on that brick and is levered into its socket just naturally. Karen, is the hip feeling cooler just being straight? Yes. You need about 20, 30 pounds on that thigh, hip there, Karen, to really make the femur bone relax. So I don't know how much that weighs. Come up, please. Everybody. Good. Bend the knee, unhook the strap, take both legs straight on the floor, Supta Tadasana. Okay, now, apart from Karen, who's going to play it very conservatively, can any of you consider experimenting with a bigger pose?
Yeah.
A bigger pose? Okay. I can show you a slightly bigger and a very bigger version. Okay. Let's go with slightly bigger first. Again, actually, if we're going slightly bigger, you should be able to catch your big toe base joint. Okay. So already this is bigger. This angle between the legs is much bigger. Yet those buttock bones have to not go askew. They have to look straight. So this is ordinary bigger. Here's bigger still. You have to really pull and stretch. Now, when you really start getting bigger, you have to move to the side of the rib cage. It gets in the way. Okay. It is not Supta Padankushtasana 2. It becomes a whole other pose. So first step is to catch with the big toe, with fingers to toe. That's not happening with the left leg straight, with both shoulders on the floor, and with both legs straight, and with both buttock bones facing, looking at your left heel. Now, Karen, you want to go really softly there. This is maybe going to make heat. If you've got a bolster, put a bolster under your thigh instead of the big, the hard, sure brick, a big bolster. Go any amount further, but you've got to stretch from buttock bone to heel. Watch the tension in the abdomen. Catch two hands, Leanne. And as the thigh comes very flat against the abdomen gets in the way, and your foot goes toward your ear and shoulder, and hopefully not much wider. Is it cooler on a bolster, Karen? Yes. Keep it cool. Remember the cool rule. Come out, change sides, go slowly if you've taken a very big stretch for you. Come out slowly, go in, build an intense stretch with awareness. Do not build an intense stretch with ambition. Ambition is rightly called blind. Keep the outer hips long. Keep that right leg straight. Stretch your right leg. If you're catching the big toe, even if you're not, get those shoulders back down to the floor. Back of the knee fully open. Both sides of the sacrum down on the floor. Both buttock bones seeing the right foot. Put eyes in your buttock bones and look for that right foot. Don't be tempted to bend your knee to make a deeper pose. It's not a deeper pose. Come out. Bend the knee, release that strap, lie flat. See that you are straight. Some of you, my line of sight could easily be inaccurate, but see that you are straight. Okay, now roll to your side, come up sitting. Sit on whatever height you might need. So could be I'm going to put here, a blanket. Could be 2 blankets. Karen, might be more. 1 extra blanket on top of whatever you're going to sit on. So here, I'm going to make this a little bit. What else? Some people might want a chair to come into the picture so there is a higher support for the head. This is Paschimottanasana. Paschimottanasana. The complete stretch or intense stretch of the west or backside of the body. So you have to sit on your blanket support, and even if it's the thinnest, because you're flexible and you can do this without being flat, even so, take some support so your hamstring feels the edge of that blanket. Okay, so it's not just fighting to the death to press that blanket, but it keeps contact from the hamstring. And then this second blanket is that small roll. And here's what I'm going to do. My feet are running hip width. This roll goes across my front thighs, and I make a big V between my thighs. So if I go forward, it's not pushing up, it's away from my abdomen. I really just want this talking to my pelvis bones and, let's say, the bladder, right? It doesn't want to be pushing above the navel. Wherever it's push and its contact is below. So you come up, you go forward, you go over this roll, and you go either to the chair seat, or if you're more flexible, Leanne, you go to your feet. And do you see this? My wrist is on top of my foot. This is your flexibility. And you just go. But that blanket roll is telling your pelvis to not drive into the thigh. There is a receding, spreading sacrum, soft front thighs, no grip. Support your head on the brick, the chair seat, or the chair seat and the brick. You've got room between your shins to stack bricks. The back thigh is saying go down. The front thigh goes down. That thigh goes down. Come up slowly. Good, Karen, you stay high. It's got to be a cool forward bend, or it's not helpful. Come out. How many blankets do you have? If you don't, here, let's do something that everybody can make. Everybody's got 2 bricks. So you take 2 bricks. You're gonna, oh, you need 2 bricks, and now it starts getting prop intensive. And a bolster or some height to support your feet, okay? So I've got 2 bricks, a couple of blankets, just folded square. Okay. So watch. These 2, the bricks and the blankets are by my side where I can get at them. And I lie on my back, get my spine all comfortable, sacroiliac all comfortable, shirt tucked in, everything in its place. And you pick your hips up, and you roll your shoulders, and maybe you raise your heels up high so you can get an easier lift. From here, these bricks come in, and they're just flat bricks. Okay, it might be bricks on their sides, and you rest on them right under the sacrum. This is a shallow Setu Bandha. Tuck your shoulders, stretch your legs. So we'll do this for a little bit. And if you're feeling good, you can stretch your legs underneath or on the floor instead of on the bricks. Okay, to build it bigger, you would come off your heels and you will add blankets. So you make just a very soft lift, and your heels go to the floor if the flexibility in this front hip is good, front spine opens. And you go on top of the support with your heels if you're going by stages. Now, of course, you can make the bricks higher. You can do this, you can turn your bricks, but please go by stages. You just been in big forward bending actions a whole lot of time with the hips going in the other direction. So make sure you have space there before you start intensifying. Karen, comfy, cool. Okay. Cool is the word. So the reason I'm asking for blankets on top of the bricks is just for lots of softness on that sacrum. That's really the only reason. So if there is difficulty making that arrangement, like it just, the bricks get awkward or the blanket doesn't fold right, then forget it. I mean, it should, don't make it a huge fuss. That is all. Lift those ribs. Do not project your abdomen forward. Drop it in. Relax the buttocks. Vidya, I see you bring those bricks a little further back towards your lumbars, just a little. That's it. And then walk your shoulders toward, wait, before you stretch those legs, walk your shoulders toward the brick. Stretch your arms, stretch your shoulders toward the brick so that chest has to roll deeply open. Then you can stretch your legs more safely with that chest wide open. Throat soft. Sacrum soft. Sacroiliac joint soft. Buttocks relaxed. If you have to tighten your buttocks, try relaxing them consciously. The mind unconsciously, in many cases, holds either one or both sides of the buttocks. This, I'll speak for myself. I'd say for a good decade and a half, I was completely unaware that my left buttock had a constant grip in some deep muscle there. And one day, a teacher came up and said, "Do you notice your left hip blade in this pose?" Said to Banda on a brick, said, do you know your left hip blade is higher than your right hip blade? And sure enough, I just reached and felt with my fingers, and that hip blade was really so noticeably higher. And it took me probably another 2 days to just suddenly connect to that muscle and drop it. And when I dropped it, this little pain that I'd had for a decade in my sacrum doing Sedubanta went away. Unconscious. Open, lift those armpits. Open the side ribs. Karen, unless there's a strap around your feet, please widen your feet a bit. Yeah. And see about a little bit wider. You've got a whole bolster width to work with. So see about going wider. There is a point of diminishing returns, but there's a place where it feels optimal. That region between the navel and the diaphragm should spread horizontally. That's kind of, at this point, it's not always, but at this time, that's a really good primary sensation for that middle section. So you feel the diaphragm, which is the upper boundary, spreads from side to side. You get the corners, the sides of the diaphragm spreading. Your diaphragm makes the same shape as your liver on your right side. It's just an umbrella that domes in the same shape as the liver. So when you spread your diaphragm, imagine that you are spreading across the liver to the outermost boundary. The back of the liver spread, that back wall of the diaphragm. So when the diaphragm can spread, the chest wall can spread and deepen. Can lift the sternum, lifts. Now, time to come out slowly. So bend those knees, put your feet on the floor, stop for a second, breathe, relax. Take note. Then push your toes or whole foot down flat, raise the hips, keep them up. Even after you remove the blankets and bricks, keep them up for 5 seconds, 5 long seconds. And then lower the spine very long to the floor, thoracic, lumbars, sacrum, tailbone. And settle. And then settle to Shavasana. And Karen, you put that bolster across your thighs and a bunch of blankets, put not under, on top. Yeah. Anybody else, if those hips or hamstrings are warm, right, like they've gotten stretched, then put some weight on them, right at the top thigh. and follow your exhalation. Each successive exhalation soften the abdomen so that you can observe the wash of the breath as you inhale and exhale. And observe where that breath touches. The Sanskrit word is desha, desha, place, placement. Where does it touch? What surfaces does it move against? What's its direction? It can have more than one direction. So see if you can find contact with the breath against the sacrum, behind the navel. Any kind of contact. Might not feel it moving, but you might feel it touching. Might feel it moving. But relax in your shavasana so deeply that you can feel the contact of that breath behind that region that we call the navel. It's bigger than just that dot. Okay, we're a little bit past the end of class as usual. So bring yourselves back carefully. You may stay and come back as slow as you like, because you're home. Namaskar. Oh, Ruby sends her greetings too.